It was just a very unpleasant year. And after about 6 months, I began to realize that I could live on my own and I could get my car fixed and deal with ordinary little things that most other adults take for granted. So I began to feel a little more independent and a little less shaky.
Well, I think it's made me a lot stronger to see her struggle and to see, you know, that she should have sort of done that a long time ago to find sort of her stable ground.
Well, I dealt with it rather badly. I didn't call anyone, and but I did quite a lot of drinking.
My wife had put a bit of a, a perverse or a more devious intent into it, which wasn't there. And basically, society, obviously the children's aid, the guidance counselor at school, and the children's doctor, the pediatrician, basically took the view that when children say something like this, they don't lie, it's the truth, and you have to assume that something happened.
It's a lot of hard work, very hard, to understand where the problem is, and also it's hard, it's very hard, because going through all this, it was too tough for me.
I felt very awkward, very, I don't know, I basically, I knew I was innocent, but I was acting and living like a guilty man.
I left earlier before I had Ashley, but I really loved being a part of a family and wanted her to have a family. So that really affected what I did.
So I was meeting aggression with aggression. And sometimes what made it worse is when I think or I felt that she got upset for nothing.
When I left for good, and that was just it. I didn't really believe that there was anything that could change anything or would change anything.
I guess I found out, my mom called me at university, and she said, can I come over? We went for a walk, and she just said, I'd left your dad. I just asked questions, where was she staying, and did she leave a note, and that was sort of the thing that upset me the most, was she didn't leave a note, and she didn't tell Dad, why she left, or, I think after so many years he deserves at least that.
After my wife and I separated, my wife took the children to see a child psychiatrist in Peterborough who specializes in abuse cases, and one statement that she made, which I found very unfair. She basically stated that somebody who is abused grows up to be an abuser. Society, institutional society, tends to look poorly on men. The example with the doctor, and also the Children's Aid Society, with taking the point of view that you're guilty until proven innocent.
Ashley was really good when I first told her, and she was very supportive of me. And then later on, I think she sided more with Barry and saw more his point of view and was angry with me for leaving. But everybody else was really supportive, and Ashley was always supportive too, but I think she felt pulled between us.
And I'm not sure when I sort of became angry at Mom. It just sort of happened. I blamed her. She was the one causing this disruption in our lives. She was the one that left. I didn't, I didn't know what to think at all. I was confused and frustrated and angry, and you know, one time I'd be angry at Mom, and another time I'd be angry at Dad, and another time I'd be angry at a friend for no reason.
So my son was having a lot of problems at school, and he wasn't happy. And one morning he started crying. He didn't want to go to school. He didn't understand why he was always getting in trouble, and because he was the good one. His sister Natalie, she was the bad child. She was bad because she said she hated Daddy. And my wife said to her, or said to my son, Natalie doesn't hate Daddy, and Alex said, yes. She says she hates Daddy because he pulls her. I can't remember whether he said pulls or pulled. Pulls her pants down.
Can I answer one question? Why the last time in, I think, last summer that you guys were pulling me for no reason?
Okay.
Now that hurted. I wasn't a doll that time, but I wanted to know why were you guys pulling me? And it was like a string, and it was a tug-of-war. Why didn't you just say, can I have Brittany, instead of pulling me and just having a tug-of-war over me?
Whenever friends of mine had said, oh, you know, my parents got a divorce or my parents split up, I thought, oh, you know, at least you're not living at home and, you know, it won't affect you because, you know, you have your own life now. But I had no idea it really affected me, and it was really hard.
But I realized no matter how much a father does, there's no substitute for a mother's love. Some years ago, I heard my kids all having a discussion, and one of the things that came out from the discussion was, it's sad, but the only thing I miss is not knowing my mother.
It's strange, but we're talking about being a couple, but I'm talking about being able to stand up by myself was a necessary part of being a couple.
You have to believe in yourself first before you could believe in anybody else. Discover who you are. When you've discovered who you are, then you could try finding out where another person is coming from.
I think the divorce, or the thoughts of divorce, frightened me a lot more than my wife. And I guess coming to the conclusion that when things are going bad, perhaps separation and divorce is the best plan of action.
Separation is pretty ugly for most people.
My therapist is one who believes that every person in one of his patients' lives needs help as a result of what's happening to them. So he was willing to see any member of my extended family who wanted help or was willing to come. So Barry decided that he would go for help, and he went to see my psychiatrist. And you know, I didn't really have much faith that he would make many changes. I thought that would just be, he was just going through the motions, and that there would be no changes. But there were changes, and there, you know, he really did learn how to negotiate, and did learn how to listen, and did learn how to deal with some of his problems. So it was a, you know, it was a really good process.
Yeah, for me, therapy, I'd always been pretty skeptical about therapy. Used to think it was like certainly a lot of males. I think that I don't need therapy. It's for the birds, you know. I'm well in control. Anyhow, it was obvious that I wasn't, so I thought, well, perhaps I should check it out. So I went, saw a therapist, and found the experience very rewarding.
I see now the great need for communication, and not just communication, but listening and understanding the other person, and also not trying to change the other person, just accepting their qualities or their likes or dislikes or opinions.
We both realize now that we have separate opinions, and we both hold our opinions, and neither one is going to change.